If you're waiting for certainty before you move, you're not practicing tawakkul, you're obeying fear. Not every wrong decision feels reckless. Some of the most dangerous ones feel responsible. They come wrapped in logic, backed by reasons, approved by people who call themselves realistic. We say, I'm just being cautious. I don't want to make a mistake. I'm waiting for clarity. But here's the uncomfortable question. What if what you call wisdom is actually fear? Refined, polished, and well-defended. Because fear rarely announces itself anymore. It has learned to quote reason, borrow patience, and disguise paralysis as prudence. Fear does not usually tell a believer, don't trust Allah. That would be too obvious. Instead, it whispers, just wait. Now isn't the time. You'll move when you're ready. And so nothing moves, not because Allah said stop, but because comfort feels safer than faith. Over time, hesitation becomes a habit, and habit begins to look like character. Allah exposes this tactic in the Qur'an. Shayṭān threatens you with poverty and commands you to immorality, while Allah promises you forgiveness and bounty. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:268. Fear always exaggerates loss and quietly minimizes Allah. Where barakah actually lives. Here is a truth that unsettles the ego. Allah does not promise barakah in comfort. He promises it in effort, trust, and movement. Allah says, and that there is not for a person except what they strive for. Surah An-Najm 53:39. Striving implies uncertainty, risk, exposure. That is why the Prophet corrected a common misunderstanding. A man asked him, should I leave my camel untied and trust Allah? The Prophet replied, tie it and then trust in Allah. Tirmidhi. Action was never optional, trust was never passive. Waiting for perfect conditions is not tawakkul. It is fear asking to be obeyed. Fear doesn't only stop you from moving forward, sometimes it convinces you to stay small. It says, don't aim too high. This is safer. At least you won't lose. But safety without growth quietly drains the soul. Allah says, so when you have decided, then rely upon Allah. Surah Al-Imran 3:159. Decision comes before reliance. Movement comes before clarity. Many doors do not remain closed because Allah withholds. They stay closed because fear keeps us from knocking. Risk with Allah is never negligence. Fear tells you that risk equals irresponsibility. Islam teaches the opposite. The Prophet ﷺ said, if you relied upon Allah with true reliance, He would provide for you as He provides for the birds. Tirmidhi. The bird leaves its nest every morning without guarantees, without zapas, without certainty, but never without trust. Barakah is not the absence of risk. It is Allah's presence within it. What is written for you will not miss you. And what misses you was never yours, no matter how tightly fear asks you to cling. So ask yourself honestly, is this really wisdom guiding me, or is fear negotiating for control? Because wisdom clarifies, fear delays, wisdom moves with humility, fear waits for permission that never comes. Allah says, and whoever fears Allah, He will make for him a way out and provide for him from where he does not expect. Surah At-Talaq 65:2-3. Fear Allah, not failure. Fear Allah, not people's opinions. Fear Allah, not discomfort. Because the believer was never promised ease, but was promised divine support. Step forward, even if your voice shakes. Choose effort, even if the outcome is unclear. Trust Allah, not when you feel safe, but because you don't. Fear may sound wise, but faith moves, and barakah does not follow those who wait for certainty. It follows those who trust Allah enough to act.